You think being a man means having it all together, being the rock, never breaking down. But deep inside, you know what it's like to feel lost in a relationship, to give everything, and still feel like it's never enough, to be emotionally drained, confused, reactive. What if I told you the problem isn't her? It's not them, it's not even you. It's your relationship with your own mind. That's where Stoicism enters, not as a trendy word, but as a battle-tested mindset, a mindset that has saved empires, built leaders, and can rebuild you too. Stoicism doesn't tell you to ignore your feelings. It doesn't ask you to be a robot. It teaches you to see clearly, to stop being a prisoner of emotional reactions, to stop letting temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Because the truth is, most men don't get broken by love. They get broken by how they handle love, by expectation, assumption, over-attachment, and the desperate need for control. But what happens when you stop trying to control her and start mastering yourself? Imagine this. You're texting a woman. Things feel good. Then suddenly, she pulls back, doesn't reply as quickly. You feel the panic rise. The overthinking begins. Did I say something wrong? Is she losing interest? You replay every conversation, every emoji, every silence, and now you're no longer living. You're chasing. You're emotionally hijacked. That's not strength. That's not leadership. That's self-abandonment. Stoicism teaches one thing above all: control what is yours to control, and nothing more. So, what is yours? Your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. That's it. Not her response, not her loyalty, not her energy. The more you try to control what isn't yours, the more chaotic you feel. But when you reclaim your side of the line, you become a man who radiates certainty. And certainty is magnetic. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present. That's what the Stoic man understands. He knows storms are coming. Emotions will rise. People will change. But he will remain grounded, calm. Not because he's numb, but because he's prepared. Let's get real. The modern world trains you to be reactive. Social media says, if she doesn't reply in 5 minutes, panic. Movies say, chase harder when someone pulls away. Friends say, you gotta do more to keep her interested. But the more you do out of fear, the less powerful you become. Stoicism flips that. It says, do less, but mean more. Stop performing. Start standing. You want to be respected in a relationship? Admired? Desired? Followed? Then stop being led by emotion and start being guided by principle. Stop asking what she wants and start asking what kind of man you want to be. Because the truth is, the right woman doesn't want everything from you. She wants one thing: a man who knows himself. Here's where most men lose. They make her the mission. They wake up thinking about her, go to bed analyzing her, structure their day around her attention. And in doing so, they lose polarity. They lose edge. They lose leadership. Stoicism puts you back on your throne. It reminds you, your purpose comes first. Your discipline builds your identity. Your values set your boundaries. And from there, love can happen, but not as need, as overflow. Let me ask you, when was the last time you sat in silence with yourself? Not scrolling, not chasing, just still. Reflecting, observing, listening. That's the practice, because a man who can sit in stillness is a man who cannot be shaken by silence. When she withdraws, you don't panic. When she tests your strength, you don't flinch. When she wants a space, you give it without losing yourself. That is strength. And yes, you will be tested. You'll be ghosted, ignored, misunderstood. But instead of reacting with desperation, you'll respond with clarity. You'll say less, but every word will carry weight. You'll stay calm, but your presence will feel louder than any performance. That's what Stoicism builds. A quiet power that doesn't need to be explained. When you live like this, something amazing happens. People feel your energy shift. You become less predictable, but more stable. Less reactive, but more dangerous. Less emotionally needy, but more emotionally intelligent. And all of it comes from one truth. You no longer chase connection. You embody alignment. So, how do you practice this daily? You train. Just like the body, the mind must be disciplined. Each morning, ask, what's in my control today? What isn't? You write down your triggers. You don't avoid discomfort, you walk into it. You choose the harder road. You respond slower. You observe longer. And you lead with action, not argument. Maybe you're going through a breakup. Maybe you feel like you're giving more than you're getting. Maybe you've lost your edge. This is your moment. Your moment to stop leaking power and start reclaiming it. Not through games, not through silence as punishment, through silence as strength, through boundaries as clarity, through detachment as freedom. Because the man who masters detachment doesn't love less, he loves smarter. He chooses from fullness, not from fear. And when that kind of man walks into a room, people notice. Not because he's loud, but because he doesn't need anything. That's Stoic attraction. That's the essence of being unbreakable. So, no, this isn't about being cold. This isn't about being distant. It's about being unshakable. It's about loving with your eyes open, leading your emotions instead of letting them lead you, becoming the kind of man who doesn't need the world to validate him because he already knows who he is. Build that man, one day at a time, through discipline, through reflection, through the Stoic mindset, and soon you'll realize the relationship that matters most is the one between your mind and your mission. That's the foundation of everything. That's where your peace begins. That's where your attraction multiplies. That's where your real power lives. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident. It found you because a part of you is tired of pretending, tired of shrinking, tired of trading your peace for people who don't even respect your silence. You've always known you were meant for more, not louder, not richer, not flashier, but deeper, more grounded, more deliberate, more unstoppable. And if something inside you stirred while hearing this, don't brush it off. That's your inner standard calling, the man you're becoming, knocking. Answer him. Subscribe to Stoic Rain, not for content, but for transformation. Then drop a comment below. Tell the world, and more importantly, yourself, which part of this message you're committed to living. Because we don't just talk Stoicism here, we embody it. And if no one ever told you this before, let this be the moment you remember it forever. You were never broken. You were just untrained. Now, let's fix that together. Welcome to your reign.